So, good afternoon. I want to make the point that behavior is the problem and it has to be part of the solution. No solution that does not include a radical change in behavior is going to do it. We are heading for the edge of the cliff and we have two choices. We can jump off the edge of the cliff, or we can start dancing to a new tune. We can turn back from the edge of the cliff. Yeah? Those are the choices ahead of us. And our behavior is really strange. You know, our lifestyles, it's totally unsustainable, but it's very, very resilient. It's deadly, it's leading us off the edge of the cliff, but it's also very, very resistant to change. And that's what we are all battling with here, the question of how to break that and build a different resilience, a resilience into a system that's actually sustainable. You might ask, why are we locked in this deadly dance, which I will describe more about later. I would suggest to you that there are two major reasons. One is the global economic system, which has been designed, in fact, to create just the resilient, unsustainable system that we have. Although the people who designed it, the human beings, probably didn't see to the end of the consequences of their actions. I'm not going to go further into that. I think that's another conference. It would be very interesting to look at. But the other aspect is this deadly dance of supply and demand. And it's actually a square dance. We've got on your left, ladies and gentlemen, we have governments and we have citizens who are locked into a kind of lockstep of, well, we really want safe products and the government should be protecting us from products that harm us or our environment, but on the other hand, they shouldn't do anything that makes us feel as though we're losing something, because then we will vote them out of office, and that's not very sustainable either, for the politicians, that is. And on the right, we have the producers and the consumers. And some of the producers are saying, you should legislate, they're saying to the governments. They talk about something mysterious called a level playing field. Have you heard that? But they're not really serious about that for various reasons. Some companies are very serious about sustainable development, but if they say they need a level playing field, it means they think that sustainability is not profitable. And we've heard a lot of evidence to show that it is. And then, of course, we have the famous consumers. And those are the ones I know best because they're the ones we work with most. We're all consumers. Businesses are consumers too. Governments are consumers, huge consumers. So I'm not making too much of a distinction here. We're in this dance together. In our corner, if we look at consumers, we've engaged millions of people in behavior change. I don't know exactly how many million. It hasn't been enough, as you've noticed. The curves are still going in the wrong direction. But what we have done is we've learnt a lot. We know it can be done, that's the first thing. And we know how to do it. Not bad. But we still haven't changed the tune. So I'm not going to go too much into this business of governments and citizens and ethics, but I think probably you will recognize it if I say that most of us experience some kind of dissonance in our everyday lives, where our personal values conflict with our personal behavior. You just have to look at the opinion polls to see that everybody wants green products and then they get into the shops and we don't buy them. And that's a very clear case of dissonance. And a lot of dissonance, what keeps us in this dance on the left-hand side of the square, I think is fear. It's fear of taking in the consequences of what we are doing. Because if we once take that in, then we will have to act. It's a huge barrier to sustainable development. We are afraid of admitting that people in other countries are also people. We're afraid of admitting that other species also have a right to live. We are afraid of many things. Facing our fears is something we can all do. There's nothing wrong with being afraid. If you're not afraid of anything, you're probably dead. But I'd like to look more at the question of the producers. We have, well, somebody beat me to it and said yesterday that Martin Luther King famously did not say, "I had a nightmare." No? We need dreams. It's dreams that bring about transformation. So that's something very, very important, and I'll come back to that in a moment. But beyond that, I think that in where we are today, with many citizens and consumers saying they want change, many companies saying and showing that they want change, does anybody seriously believe that governments are going to bring this about? If you do, see me afterwards. I don't want to hear it now. But they're not. So the big actors, the ones with the clout, that's industry. That's industry. And here's a secret. Industrial history is not made by giving consumers what they want. Whoops. Henry Ford said, if I'd asked the public what they wanted, they'd have said, a faster horse. Industrial history is made by people who dare to dream, and whose dream is strong enough to persuade other people that what they thought was impossible can in fact be done. So I want to know, where are the big sustainability dreams? Not the tinkering in the margins and the little bits of efficiency here and a little bit of reduction there. I want to see the big dreams. I want to see the new graphenes of the new age. And when we have the big dreams, there's absolutely no limit to human ingenuity. If we can dream it, we can do it, pretty much. Dreams plus ingenuity and facing our fears, we can start calling out a new dance.